our habits. Why? Our habits, they can advance the kingdom of God or the agenda of the enemy. What does that mean? For the last week part 1, we covered something small about what habits they can look like, negative and positive. And we even shared that sharing them with your spouse, they help you to be accountable to them as they help you overcome those that are bad and maintain those that are good, and also help you to withstand those that were bad and which wants to reignite in your life. We covered that well. Now, let's proceed. Why habits? You see, habits are produced by the environment we live in, which produces the knowledge we have. What does that mean? Habits, they are learned or they are caught. Our eyes can catch habits. Our ears can listen to habits. Our hands, our 5 senses, that's how we get to interact with the world. That's how we receive, and that's how we give to the world. That's how we receive the influence we get, and that's how we give the kind of influence that we give back to the world. My question to you today is, how is your environment? Is it conducive for the right knowledge? Because the knowledge you are receiving today is what is going to form the habits that you'll be having tomorrow. Your habits are going to form your character. Yes. You can't say that my character is of integrity and yet you have a habit of stealing money. You contradict yourself. So, when your habits are bad, then even your character becomes so. Habits, these are wrong or right knowledge that we learn through the 5 senses, as we said, and then we listen to them over and over, we practice them over and over until now they become defaults. So bad habits, simply they can be defined as a wrong knowledge that has been practiced over and over until it became a stronghold. Another to define stronghold, it is saying bad habits. I don't know if any of you've ever thought of it like that. Because bad habits, these are bad things you do. Things, they don't come from air. You have to know them. Or at least someone has to know them for you. Good habits, the same. These are good knowledge that you get to learn, and then you practice over and over. That's why it is called habit. You can't do something once and then you say it is your habit. No. You must have to do it over and over until it becomes a default. So we call it a habit. Another to define habits is to say defaults. It is to say good or bad strongholds. Though the word stronghold is mostly mentioned in a negative perspective. As in, like, it is a bad thing. Mostly, that's that word. That's when that word is used. Even me, when I was growing up, when we talk about bad habits or the word habit, we used to hear it as if it is a negative thing always. But now that we are more knowledgeable, some of us, you've read the Atomic Habits by James. You've read many other books that teaches you to differentiate the two, and also now to do based on, we talk about Joyce Meyer, this book she has, about good and bad habits. You can go and check it out. As in, there are so many content there outside that teaches how to overcome bad habits by doing what is good habits. So, defining about our environment today, the first thing that you should consider when it comes to what we call habits, it is what is my knowledge that I have toward this habit that I want to learn or that I want to unlearn. Because it is possible to say that I don't want this habit and yet you don't have the knowledge that is contrary to it. It is impossible to say that I want to get rid of this habit when you don't have the knowledge that is against it. Or to say, I want this habit, and yet you don't have the knowledge that now comes with the empowering of that habit. The second thing, the kind of environment you have. The friends, the books, where you sleep, the environment you are in. How do they look like? Are they empowering the kind of journey of letting go of the bad habits you have, or are they increasing? Now, let's proceed. It has to be visible. Maybe around you, there are podcasts you can listen, but you also need to see. For example, when you want to corrupt a generation, like the way it is working in our generation today, let's give an example of this one major pandemic that is taking over our young people, our married couple, and every person, to most female or male. We who are of this generation, they have suffered. Or we have a relative that have suffered from that. Or we are married to someone, or we will marry someone who was affected by that. How? What is it? Rape. When we talk about rape, if you want rape to increase, both for men and women, do this. Encourage people to wear bikinis, underwears practically, and blurs when they are on the beach. And tell them there is no sin to do that. That is the right cloth. But since when did God allow people to be naked because they are just on the sand? I believe there isn't. Now, that's for another day, of which you have covered those series. Make women wear and leave their breasts out. Cleavages. Why am I focusing on women? It's because men are triggered by what they see. Even those who want to go ahead and rape you, it's just that they control themselves to not act based on their feelings. But surely, if a man you two came and flirted with you, if you don't sleep with them, it's not because you won't like it, but it's just that you choose to obey God over what you are feeling, but it will trigger you. So it is the same thing. Now, make women wear clothes in our days, at least 99% of your wardrobe as a woman. I want you to go and check that. Your butt or your buttocks is being tightened wherever you wear those trousers, those skirts, those dresses. They are not stupid, these people. These are not stupid things. They are creating a conducive environment for women to get raped, for men to get raped. Introduce what you call, or confuse the word being attractive with being seductive. Most women, they don't know how to differentiate the two. You can still be attractive because of your knowledge, because of how you speak, because of your tone, without necessarily speaking like a prostitute or speaking to someone's husband as if they are your husband. Wherever we wear a cloth or say things that we ought only to do for our husbands, for our wives, what we are doing, we are being seductive. We wanted to make these people or give them wrong indicators as of we want them sexually, and yet we don't. And these people, if they not end up sleeping with us, the fire they are carrying, the fire that we've ignited, there is someone's daughter, there is someone's son that is going to be raped because of us. So you might say, Mima, I have been wearing nakedness and no man has ever touched me. Yeah. But I want you to know those eyes that were looking at you as if they want to swallow you. Though to you they made you feel important and valuable. Of which that is another thing that the enemy has done. He has made women to believe that the more they are sexualized, the more they are viewed sexually, the more beautiful they are. You are lying to yourself. That is only true if your husband is the one doing that. And of which, Pia, I believe if your husband only saw you sexually only, you start to question his authenticity of how much he loves you. You start to wonder, am I a sex object only in this marriage, or am something more? So though it is important, but you shouldn't be viewed sexually only. Now, even more, it is so bad that someone else who is not your husband, they have a picture of you, or they have an image of you, of how your thighs look like, of how your inner thighs look like, just because you had gone to a beach. Now, if you want the habit of, we're talking about habits. If you want any habit to take root, cultivate the environment. The result will come automatic. I believe there is no man who goes around saying rape, 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 rape. No one. But just make women wear inappropriate things. And make men speak words they shouldn't be speaking to women. Words that trigger them. Words that insinuate that they love those women, and yet they don't love them. And I'll show you. Whether they do it on the road, whether they do it in the lodges, wherever they will do these things, they will do them. But because we are still oblivious to that reality, guess what? You see a woman saying, no, stop rape, in the... stop harassing women, stop harassing men. But at the same time, the things that she's wearing, in fact, if she gets out of that demonstration without being raped, we thank God for that. Already, she's fighting what she is. You cannot go on the street saying, we refuse tobacco, we refuse the consumption of tobacco, and you have hectares of tobacco that you are planting already. That is illusional. Sometimes I usually see on TV women demonstrating about, men raping them and all of those stuff. And I'm like, listen, a man who is not a Christian, or a man who is not rooted in Jesus, even the way you are right now, they can come for you and rape you. That is like saying that I want to change, but the environment around you, it says otherwise. You are saying I have and I want a fruit of banana. But what you are planting there, it is a trees of thorns. So tomorrow when you go through that garden and then thorns starts to pierce you or to enter into your feet, please don't start to get surprised. That's the kind of trees you've planted. That is a principle. Women who are preaching on pulpits, be very careful. Don't teach about purity, and yet your breasts are almost falling out of your clothes. I mean, the other lady, she's a Nigerian. She's an author. She was writing saying that women stop going to pastors wearing almost nakedness for counseling and starting to tell them about your sexual tantrums in your past. And then when they rape you, you come back saying that he raped me in bend over style. And then when it happened, you are busy saying, give me more, go faster, hit me. I mean, how do we do these things? And I really like that article because I was like, yeah, this is what happens. A woman flatters with the pastor in the compound. Tomorrow they ask for an appointment. They go there thinking that this is just a pastor. Listen, this is someone who can be attempted. I'm not giving them excuses. It's 100% for a man. By the way, this one I always clarify whenever I teach about rape. It is a man's or a woman's responsibility to make sure that you compose yourself regardless of whatever temptation that comes your way. So I'm not favoring men or women who are raping other people. But what I'm saying is you who is being raped. What are your participation into that? Because also, unless we start to see the both sides, we are going to always be victims and we will never own our responsibility, and that will always make us miserable. As a man, when that woman raped you, what kind of conversation had you been having? How close were you in terms of physical? Where were you? A woman. Have you realized that nowadays people who are raped even from long time ago, it's not that cases like those weren't there, but now they have increased because of how even increased the naked bodies of women are everywhere. Pornographies are everywhere. But when you go back, we talk about when we were being raised. And when you come in today, you can't compare the numbers. We can excuse ourselves, oh, the age of information required bado haijakuja, it has not come, and also the Instagram, now we can access information. I agree with you. But we cannot say that they increased the naked bodies of women everywhere. Where in our days, woman taking a picture, her vagina being outside and posting it on TikTok, posting it on everywhere, it is just a normal thing. And then you tell me that have not increased the cases. It has. So what I always encourage men and women is how the most case of rapes, it is either the friend, the father, the best friend, the acquaintances, the mother, the pastor, the colleague. As in, these are people who don't know each other entirely, but they have a connection somewhere. Long time ago, rapes were mostly in either the families or a total stranger. Meeting a woman going to fetch water, they sleep with them. But in our days, you hear that I thought he was my friend. I thought she was my fiance. I thought when, not even in Africa, worldwide go and do the research about rape, you'll be surprised. They'll tell you the people who raped them. There were people who were having either a situationship with them. There was a kind of a relationship that is not deep, but it was there. Why does it go like that? It's because you don't know how to calculate and say this person, regardless of whether I'm their friend or not. There is why I cannot present myself to them.